This week on Not Sauce for Work, my co-host Graphite Duke and I are joined by producer Eagle at Master Control as we discuss scissors, flip phones, O.J. Simpson's lack of game, and I finally get baited into a LeBron versus MJ debate. Stay tuned as we react to one wide receiver's drip overshadowing the return of another, and we torture Duke about his Raiders fandom. We get into all these topics and more on this episode of Not Sauce for Work on the Hot Sauce Sports Podcast Network. Welcome, everyone. You are watching and perhaps listening to Not Sauce for Work. Terry's out. Duke joins me as well as Eagle. Duke, how's it going, man?
Not bad, dude. I ate soup and I'm not wearing pants. It's the best day ever.
That is the best day ever. Although, if you spill the soup on your bare legs, that's the worst day ever.
But who does that?
No one in this room.
Has that ever happened?
Yes, to me, several times.
Yeah.
Also, Duke, you seem like a clumsy guy. I totally see you spilling soup on yourself.
Nah, I'm not a clumsy guy.
I have
I have a lot of problems, but clumsiness is not my thing.
I'm actually clumsy.
I got sure hands, man.
Which is weird because, like,
You handle knives on a regular basis.
yeah, no, but I'll never cut myself. I'll very rarely make a drop in, like, football or whatever. But the other day I was carrying the drip tray from my coffee machine to empty into my sink, which is like 15 steps away. I made it 14 and a half steps, then dropped it all over my cabinets. There was just like a watery coffee residue everywhere. I had to clean it. It was pretty.
That's
bad.
the worst.
It's pretty bad. My wife was not happy. But I want to start at a specific place today as I did something for the first time since the COVID lockdown today. I went to the dentist. I went before my wedding, went on my honeymoon, said when I get back, I'm going to book a dental appointment. And then the world shut down.
They're just called appointments, by the way.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was resetting that it was with the dentist for those who were not paying attention. It's called podcasting, Eagle. Look it up.
It's called storytelling, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you forced me to spend more time away from it, so I got to remind people that this is about the dentist. So I said I was going to make an appointment, and then the world shut down 2 days later, so I wasn't able to. Then, of course, because of the new protocols and so on, it takes months and months and months to get an appointment. Finally did it, and I have to get 2 wisdom teeth pulled. And
That's not that bad, actually, all things considered.
No,
Because you could have like cavities and need like a bridge and a crown. And
I take really good care of my teeth and have a water flosser and all this stuff. And actually,
remember when you were drinking all that grapefruit water?
yeah, good thing my enamel's fine. But Eagle's wife, or girlfriend rather, who's a
I just call her my wife anyways.
yeah, she's a dental assistant, and I don't know if you know this, Duke, but she checked my mouth at a recent wedding that we were at. We were both several drinks in at the time. She told me the wisdom tooth wouldn't be that much of a problem, and the dentist agreed. So I was answering.
But you're not feeling any pain? You're not feeling any pain or anything?
I have no pain.
So why would you get your wisdom teeth removed if you're not feeling any pain?
So the bottom one is broken. So stuff's going to get stuck inside. The top
and then
one
it can get infected,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it becomes a problem.
the top one has shifted, so everything gets stuck between the wisdom tooth and the last tooth.
Which will cause cavities, which again, you're going to have to get it pulled
And
because it will be a
it's
problem.
unpleasant. Like it's actually improved my flossing because I now have to floss 8 times a day because of that, because there's always something that gets stuck in it. But yeah, so
I'll say something. I'll say something that when I had to get my wisdom teeth removed, it was the most awful experience. The dentist had to put his knee on my chest and pull and pull and pull and pull, and it was literally a 4-hour thing. It was awful. So I really hope it's not like that, and I doubt it's going to be that way. Yeah.
So
What was your dentist, your dad or something?
it was Pops. Pops' picks, your wisdom teeth.
Exactly. It's just some random guy in the street just fucking ripping him
Yeah,
out.
$20 a tooth.
I honestly had that memory of just your like a week-long recovery. It was terrible, and because of that, I've always been scared to pull my wisdom teeth. And what he told me with our dentist, who we actually all know in this chat, of course, we all know this dude. He assured me, he's like, no, I think yours will be pretty easy to pull. Like they're fully grown out, so it's just extraction. You have to like open them and break them, like so it should be okay. So looking forward to that. But I was asking the question that I got a questionnaire that I had to fill out because it's the first time I go to this specific dentist. That's my previous one retired, and I just filled out the form. I said, it asks a bunch of questions. One of the questions is, are you afraid of the dentist? And I was thinking, like, as an adult, are you afraid of the dentist?
It's possible. Like my father, when he first got insurance, because he basically was working jobs here and there. Eventually, he got a university degree, went to work for a company, and he had dental included in his coverage. So he's like, okay, great. I'm gonna go see a dentist, take advantage of it, and whatever it is. Goes to the dentist the first time. Apparently, his mouth has problems left, right, and center. He's like, okay, we're gonna pull this, we're gonna inject that, we're gonna do this, whatever it is. If it's the first time you go see a dentist, and he tells you like, we're gonna basically do an entire reconstruction of your mouth. You're like, no fucking way. I'm leaving this place, right?
Yeah, that's horrifying.
He never went back. He never went to a dentist ever again from that point onwards. So I can understand why if you're like, by now it's too late, right? That was like 50 years ago, if not more. So I can understand like the phobia of a dentist. Like you had a bad experience, you go, but you don't like going and the whole thing.
What's your dad's plan for when his teeth just start falling out of his mouth at random events?
Ah, man, it just comes out, man.
Professionally, he's a structural engineer, so he's just going to put a bunch of cement on them.
Yeah, that's it.
I
mean, put some toothpicks in there.
I guess he kind of already did with all the gunk that's accumulated in there, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's compacted sugar. So I'm hoping
just 3D print some teeth,
I'm wondering though, like, are there, like, other than your dad, are there adults who would actually admit to like phobia of the dentist?
I'm sure there are. It's a thing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure, man. I'm sure.
I'm just curious about
people are weak as hell. People are soft as hell right now.
People are scared of a lot of weird shit. Like there is dentophobia. It's an actual thing.
Well, Duke, do we go into your one weird fear?
I mean, we don't have to because I feel like we. Yeah, it's drains.
I don't know if we've done it on the show.
Drain all clowns.
Sorry?
Clowns are the most fucked up part. Clowns definitely, but
drains.
Clowns will be number one and number two.
Are you actually afraid of them?
Clowns are burying the lead.
I don't. You asked me a question, and the answer is I don't fuck with them. I do not fuck with clowns.
Factual. But you missed Duke's bigger fear, which you sort of jumped on the secondary one. His biggest fear is actually drains.
Yeah, I don't.
You're
fuck
scared
with
of like what?
I don't
Getting,
step
like,
on
your foot
sewers.
Stuck in.
I've gotten better at it because I mean, owning a house, it's kind of like you can't really have phobias because it's impossible. You have to deal with it. Like I've had to deal with bees. I've had to deal with a whole bunch of bullshit. But yeah, I just don't like them, man. Fuck drains. Whoever
like
invented drains,
when you shower, do you like stand away from the middle?
Yes.
It's a great question. If I find myself stepping on it, I shiver, man. I shiver. I cry a little,
When we were
normal dude stuff.
When we were kids, Duke used to have a pair of scissors by the bathtub, and those scissors were used to go get the cork.
Shut the fuck up.
Duke, true or false?
Yeah. No,
So
it's true, man. It's true.
We are balls deep into the NFL season. We have a ton of NFL, NBA, and some wild stories as always. So it's about time we get to the news. Terry is the news.
Love it.
The first thing I wanted to start with was the world was treated to a Sunday night football game between the Raiders and the Chiefs.
Treated?
Horrible.
Is that the word?
Well, we were treated to the Chiefs returning to looking like an exciting offense, and we were treated to the wheels finally falling off the Las Vegas Raiders because of just not even like the things that you would expect to happen on the field, but all the off-season stuff that we've talked about, show in and show out. Yet the one thing that did happen on the field caught my attention as something was found on the field. Eagle, play the video.
It gives him a chance to block down and make a play. I have no idea what we just saw.
I don't either.
He just walked across. Quentin Jefferson just walked across the line. Looked like he threw a spoon off the field or something.
No, it's a fork. It's not a spoon. It's a fork. It's been confirmed it's a sport. It's a maybe a sport. Perhaps it's a sport.
I've never seen this. There we go. Hold on. Just hold on a minute. And don't snap the ball. Look. What is that?
Scissors? I don't know what it was, but it might have been scissors.
It gives him a chance.
So the early reports were scissors, as you heard, Eagle. Duke, but you know it's a fork?
Yeah, it's a fork. It's been confirmed it's a fork. We don't really know exactly what happened. You know, my initial reaction was I think it might have been like, you know, some dude that was working on the field just ate his lunch, had the fork in his pocket, and it fell out. Because I don't think anyone would be able to rifle a fork from the stands, you know, to the field. I just don't think that's possible. I don't think it's aerodynamic enough.
I was just thinking it's got to be Andy Reid left it behind. He was eating on the field.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to make that joke because fat guy right here. So,
so can we talk a bit about the game, or do you want to just jump straight into just Deshaun Jackson? Because there's a lot I have to say about this.
We'll start with the game, and then we'll lead into the next clip, which has to do with Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too much off of this. I honestly think that anyone that saw that line at the beginning of the week, the fact that the Raiders were a 3-point favorite, 3.5 favorite, I mean, to think that they would win this game, I mean, I did not think from the beginning of the season, I didn't think that the Chiefs were going to have I didn't expect them to have as bad of a start as they did, but I didn't expect them to be out of it. The AFC has been a complete mess, and it's also been a really fun mess at the same time. And you know, Raiders and Chiefs has always been a weird kind of matchup. Like, it's always been a 50-50 split throughout the season. You always have one game where either the Chiefs or the Raiders blow each other out, and then the other game is, you know, it's won by the opposing team. It always ends up being a split. That being said, man, there's just been so much going on in the offseason and even leading into this season now that I'm not surprised. Like, it's tough to maintain good football when you have so much crap going on in the background. And I think this week we just saw, you know, look, the game started off great, but there were a lot of injuries. They're running out of cornerbacks because they had to cut a guy because he was waving a gun on a camera. So, you know, I don't think the Raiders are out of it. I still think that the AFC is wide open. There's a lot of things that can happen. But that being said, to think that to discount the Chiefs after a couple of games in an extended season is crazy to me.
But so that's the thing is, you can say the AFC is wide open, but the thing is that there's a lot of teams that do exactly what the Chiefs had lost. They lost like these one-score games. But you have teams like the Dolphins who will win a one-score game now and again. The Titans who have the best record where we all see the flaws. But yet, like, you know, the Chiefs are a team we know it's quantifiably good. We expect the Chargers to be better at some point. Like, the season's long.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the season, guys like Mahomes, guys like Herbert are going to have more better weeks than not. Whereas the Raiders are going to be kind of this middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
I thought you said more better, and I was like,
well,
more better weeks.
Yeah, they'll have more better weeks.
I don't want to. I think that we all should be careful about rushing to judgment about any team, because if there's anything that this season has proven is that there's just a lot of things we're not expecting. I did not expect Brady to lose to the Washington Redskins this past week. I didn't expect the Bills to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, I mean, I still think that this is not going to end well for the Raiders. I think that they started the season really well, and there's a lot going on. That being said, there's still a lot of football left to be played, and anything can really happen. This has to be one of the weirdest seasons I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I can't even imagine it.
I think the season can be encapsulated in one video. Eagle, please bring it up.
Do it.
Wait, there we go.
From the 43.
Yeah, this has to be the most Deshaun Jackson thing.
Keeps his eyes downfield, throws, caught! 20-yard line. Deshaun Jackson, then he loses the ball at the 14-yard line. So he makes his first catch as a Raider, coughs it up. And that was Rashard Fenton who dislodged it.
I don't think Richard Fenton dislodges so much as Deshaun was confused and then seems to throw it at the face of a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah, it's a really strange play. I'm still trying. It still boggles my mind. I mean, just another example of how the Raiders have embarrassed me my whole life. But that being said, I mean, if you think about that play, if he runs forward and not backward, it's a close game. It's a 24-21.
It changes the game.
And
it changes the game, absolutely.
Absolutely. So when I look at that game, I did not think that the Raiders were totally out of it. I just think they sustained so many injuries in that game, and that's one thing that we never think about. We always look at the score. We never think about, hey, like in one game, 5-6 players got injured. You're dealing with a coach that's a bigot that's suing the NFL, which we're getting to, and they've had to release a player because of some crap that he posted online, and another guy for killing somebody. So it's just. Yeah. It's got to be one of the weirdest seasons I've ever experienced.
You know what I don't see when I'm watching the Raiders? People knocking on wood because nobody's with John Gruden.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Eagle, I got a question for you. At what age will the following happen? Deshaun Jackson can't get behind everyone on the secondary.
I mean, it's already kind of happening.
But he's done this before.
Like he got open.
Deshaun Jackson has done this kind of bullshit before. This is not the first time.
So I was say when he dropped the ball with Philly and everything at the 1 yard line.
But that was my question for Duke. My question for Duke is: does the disorientation, kind of like J.R. Smith running the wrong way in an NBA Finals game, does this take precedent over Deshaun Jackson leaving the ball at the 1 yard line? I believe twice in his career.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's something, and it's crazy because Deshaun Jackson has blazing speed, but for some reason, there's like this mental block when he gets to the end zone. It's almost like he gets too excited and he wants to do too much. He just had to run forward. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually miss Ruggs, and I hope he rots in hell. But I miss him just for the idea that he doesn't panic when he sees an end zone. And I never thought I'd say that about it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe like Deshaun Jackson has a phobia of running uncontested into an end zone.
At one point, I thought at one point during the game, Duke, where they said in the broadcast, and this made me switch to the Manning cast, where they said Zay Jones is now the speed threat in the Raiders, and I was like, oh god, like Zay Jones is a nice receiver.
Well, he's fast.
He's not that fast. He's like Jarvis Landry fast. Like he cuts quick. He cuts quick. He gets in and out of breaks, but he's a route runner. He's not he's not Deshaun Jackson. How do
you know that? You've seen how many plays have you seen? Zay Jones has literally ran 10 routes in his whole career. I'm gonna get his 40 time up.
I was super excited by him when he was in, I believe, what's that, Eastern Michigan?
He ran a 4.4.
Yeah, but not 4.3.
He ran a 4.4.
Like Ruggs is a sub 4.3 guy.
A 4.4. It's still super fast.
It's fast.
I'm pretty sure that's the same time as Ruggs, but it doesn't really matter. The point is, either way, it's not so much about having one specific player to be the deep threat. Honestly, I just think that the fact that their whole offense was reliant on having a deep threat. I mean, I get it, but you have to be able to adapt.
Sorry, I saw him play. I saw Zay Jones play at East Carolina because his last year he was putting up like stupid numbers, and I wanted the Dolphins to draft him. So that's why I remember Zay Jones specifically. And he was.
And also, you are right. You are right. Ruggs ran at 4.26.
Yeah, he's not. He was not 10 speed. He was not 10 speed. So
he also drives as fast. So
yeah, maybe that's why. So the lawsuit that is currently happening though for the Raiders as Ruggs awaits his fate. John Gruden is now suing the NFL because there is more that lies beneath. It feels as though he felt targeted by the NFL in a way to bury their own ghosts. And do you see this though, Duke, as John Gruden wanting to push discovery to show that other people were guilty, or is this him trying to maximize as much money as he can get out of the NFL?
Duke, before you answer that, just to read it out, the lawsuit alleges and accuses the league and Goodell of engaging in, quote, a malicious and orchestrated campaign against Gruden, alleging that officials intentionally leaked the emails during the middle of the Raiders season to inflict maximum damage on Gruden and his team.
Right. So I think that both points are completely valid. I do believe that he is trying to maximize the amount of value he can get out of this because, number one, NFL has zero intention about letting this go any further. And they clearly don't want any of this information to get out into the public. They don't want any more emails or text message to be out. He's clearly a scapegoat. That being said, I mean, it must be really hard for him to admit that he was wrong. It must be really hard for him to admit that he's a terrible person. I mean, when I heard about this lawsuit, I told myself a couple of things. I said, you know what? He should, if he's doing this to release more information about the case and to bring knowledge to the public about what really happened, that's one thing. I agree with that. But if you're doing this for profit, if you're doing this because you want to be right, I don't think that's the right step. I mean, he's clearly wrong about this. Like, he will never be vindicated for what he did. And he is absolutely looking for maximum profit because the NFL has zero intention about letting all this loose, you know?
Remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about whether or not he was going to go ahead and try and pursue this legally, depending on if he gets the payout or not, and then the book deal and the whole stuff. Basically, this kind of shows that whatever agreement or settlement they're kind of coming to isn't hitting what he wanted out of this, and is using the pressure of disclosure and basically a discovery for them to have to release these emails for the NFL to say, you know what, we can't go through with this trial because the moment this goes out, we're dead, right?
So,
and he knows that. He knows there's going to be something in there.
So and like the NFL is obviously one of the bad guys here because we know that they're hiding information. We know some of the stuff that went on based on
100%.
just simply the reporting of the Washington Post, which is one of the most reputable newspapers still around. The next thing, though.
Also, some of the witnesses who have basically come out publicly saying we told them a bunch of stuff and they don't they don't want to release it,
and they put their names to it as well, which is rare in these cases. But the other thing. Am I the only one reading this and being like, my God, the racist is going to get paid. He's going to get rewarded extra.
He's going to get rewarded, yes.
Because of his racism and because of his hatred and bigotry.
But he will.
That's insane.
I'm gonna throw this out there, though.
He's not. No, he's not. Sorry, he's not. He's not getting paid for his racism and bigotry. He's getting paid because he is being terminated for something that did not happen when he got employed by the Raiders.
Oh, but
regardless of what we feel. No, but regardless of what we feel about it, clearly agents and lawyers are going to get involved and they all want to get their payout. And, you know, we all agree that he was wrong in what he did, but he does have grounds for suing the NFL.
So there's potential clauses in contracts that say like...
Wait, guys, he resigned. He was not fired. He resigned from the Raiders. So he quit his job regardless of when this happened. And I would say that there's a case to be made that if this comes out, it's still a league partner. You could still pursue to fire with cause.
Of course,
probably right on that. Contract detrimental to the club.
There we go.
I also think that you're giving a lot of credit to Mark Davis and to the contract that he signed. I do believe that when they hired John Gruden, they gave him every single thing he wanted. There was I honestly don't even think there was a negotiation involved. I think that I highly doubt that there were even clauses in the contract that even dictated morality. You know, I mean, the infatuation with John Gruden when the Raiders were moving to Vegas, I mean, it was intense. Everybody in the organization, every fan wanted Gruden back because of the feel-good times. So, I mean, I agree with you guys. I think you're right, and I do think that there was absolute reason to get rid of him. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some holes in that contract because they gave him 10 years, $100 million. And they bent over backwards for that guy.
We'll see how it shakes out. Again, I hope, on a personal level, I hope that it forces discovery because there are people whose voices need to be heard.
Last thing on this, just quickly here, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but do we actually have proof or any type of indication that whether or not you think he's a racist, a sexist, all this stuff that he's been tagging in?
He thinks that because he wrote those things.
Clearly.
Yeah, and he hasn't apologized.
Can you actually pinpoint something he's done as a coach in charge of the Raiders that would indicate that his views impacted his decision making as a coach? I think that's another portion
Well,
here, which is
no proof
like it basically you can think he's an asshole, you can think he's a racist, but if it doesn't affect your job, is it really contract detrimental to the club? Right?
It absolutely is, because you have black players, because you have gay players.
But you're
on that team.
You're letting them play. You're giving them the same fair
I understand,
chances.
but they have to look at the job.
I agree.
The job is to be a leader, and if they can't respect you, if they can't see you as a leader, then I'm sorry, you haven't done your job. That is behavior detrimental to the team.
Agreed.
You know, like
They have
if kicking a
they have come out
75-foot,
this
if kicking a 75-yard field goal is firing with cause, then I think this is firing with cause as well.
There's a lot of players had come out and support him in all that. Not Carl Nassib.
But that doesn't make it okay.
That speaks volumes.
It takes
No, it
one
doesn't,
player
but-
to be unhappy. Like
No, but I understand, but I'm responding to what you said and what Eagle said, that there was some support for him. But I also think that part of that support is just a shock of losing somebody that's close to you, that's been coaching you, that you didn't really know about this until when it happened. So, man, this season needs to end. It's just, God, worst season ever for a Raiders fan. I'm telling you right now.
Again, Eagles' question is can you make a case that it's detrimental to the club? One way you can also say is, can he recruit other players who are minorities, or will they hold it against him? Can he recruit other players who have different sexual orientation who might hold it against him? Because I hate to say it, guys, Carl Nassib ain't the only gay player in the NFL, and he's not the first gay player in the NFL, and he ain't the last.
He's yeah, I agree with you guys. I still think he's going to get paid out. The NFL just does not want to have to do anything more with this. They just want to pay and get out, you know.
Yeah, so we'll move on to Monday Night Football. And, of course, the story was one shining example of one prima donna wide receiver. Let's have a look right here.
Oh, you got to give me a little more time than that.
I spoke so slowly, and you knew I was going to the next topic.
I know.
So what are you doing while are you just staring into my eyes?
No.
Are you just looking at me lovingly?
I see Chiefs. Chiefs are back on my thing. Okay, we're just skipping Chiefs. Okay.
Deebo Samuel wearing the biggest chain. Of course, in the game between the Raiders and the 49ers, it's the only wide receiver story of the night, of course. We'll talk about the other one later. But I saw that and I was like, yo, Deebo had a night, and we've seen all these iterations.
49ers Rams, by the way.
Sorry?
49ers Rams. You said Raiders. You said Raiders 49ers.
Oh, my mistake. I meant
49ers Rams. Yeah.
And so I like, so we were talking about Marshmallow and Dead Mal 5 in our chat between us and for the staff of our Hot Sauce Sports. And you said, Eagle, that imitation's one thing if it's done well. I think this is the best version of the turnover chain I've seen since the original.
This one is pretty good, honestly.
Would you guys agree?
Who made this for him too? Like, is this like you don't get this on Etsy, right? Like, you hire
I would
someone to
imagine
make
not.
this.
I have a bit of a controversial opinion about this. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of tired with the turnover chain.
You're tired with joy and happiness.
Too many teams, man. It was great. It was great the first time it came out, and I still think that's the original one. And they should. Well, they're also a terrible team, so they don't.
Yeah, they never get to show it anymore, dude.
As much as they can. No, but I mean, there's been like a lot of teams that have been replicating it. That being said, sick ass chain, love it.
Yeah. So I'm not a graphic designer like you. There's something about the Niners jersey. I don't know if it's like the shadowing on the numbers. I find it looks super sick. Am I just a child of the 90s, or do they actually?
No, I think you're right. I absolutely love the fact that they brought back the 90s style. It's not my favorite 49ers jersey, but I love the shadowing behind it. That being said, I've spoken to a lot of people that don't like it. That shadowing effect on the numbers is something that, I mean, for guys like us from our generation, it's nostalgic to us, So I love it. I think it's classic, man. Did you see the Giants are going to go all white on Monday night? They're going to bring out the Color Rush jersey. Excited for that one.
There's not a color of jersey that speaks to Wellington Mara's sensibility. The past Wellington Mara's sensibility as all white does. The OBJ played his first game with the Rams. It's kind of what we expected. He's getting acclimated. But here's a moment that he had before the game, and it was caught on tape. Hopefully this was enough time for Eagle to get the video. There we go.
And when I get that feeling, I won't let you. So,
like, if people get annoyed by OBJ, I feel like I feel like he's just a dude who likes to mess around and have fun, and I'm with it. I like it.
3 targets, 2 receptions, 18 yards in that game.
Yeah.
Well, but he was only on like 20% of the time.
He also seems like the kind of person that is fun to have around your team when you're winning, but so terrible to have on your team when you're losing.
Well,
it's just
I feel like
no two ways about it.
So I think that there's not necessarily a ton of NFL fans who are big NBA fans the way I am, or yourself.
Dude, there's so many players. There's so many players that played with him that find him super annoying.
But there's many. There are, like
whether it's the Giants or the Browns.
But like you said about the whole Gruden thing, there also are many who defended him, right? Like Jarvis Landry, like Eli Manning, like a lot of the guys on the Giants team who said they were friends with him at the time of the first trade. But my point in that is that are people annoyed with the whole forcing his way out of Cleveland just because like they're just not used to in the NFL the same way we see it happen in the NBA literally every season, whether it's AD forcing his way to Lakers.
Oh, I don't think it was annoyance. I think that Browns fans were relieved. I mean, that offense.
No, but not Browns fans. I don't mean Browns. I mean as a national narrative.
National narrative.
Because he hasn't done anything criminal or anything really that would indicate until his dad posted the video that he's quote unquote a bad teammate.
But what are you asking? What are you asking?
My question is for the national narrative: are people bothered by the antics of a guy trying to force his way out? Because in the NFL we just don't 100%. See it. But is it because in the NFL we don't see it that often? Whereas like the NBA, that's just the way you do business.
Well, no, but there's NBA fans that are completely annoyed with LeBron. They're annoyed with Ben Simmons. They're annoyed with.
But it happens every season and it works every time. It works every time.
But yes, I understand. But your question is, are people annoyed with the narrative of that? And the fact is that fans will always react like fans. We, generally speaking, most fans don't like hearing a player that's disgruntled, getting paid a lot of money, whether me or you agree with it or not. Because I'm like you. I believe that it's their choice. It's their free. It should be their freedom to decide where they want to go. Yeah. That being said, I can understand a fan that works their tail off every week, makes barely anything, and then you got a player that's not happy, and not trying to adapt to the team that he's playing for, and getting paid a lot of money to work this kind of a job.
My defense is always that fan would leave that job for better conditions to go to another job.
But they're fans.
Yeah, I know.
They're fans.
I'm aware.
That's the way fans think, and I agree. Believe me, I'm in complete agreement with you. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I'm not going to go all Kaepernick and stuff, but the idea that a player gets drafted into a team doesn't have the freedom, the career freedom to choose which team to go to already bothers me. But that being said, I mean, yeah, it's not just with them. Look at the kind of heat that Ben Simmons is getting. I mean, the amount of vitriol that he's getting right now from fans that are saying like, what, you don't want to learn how to shoot a 3-pointer, as if he's not trying?
Well, and then anyway. Like the Jason Kelce reaction to that is, if you play better, well, he was all NBA, he was all defensive NBA last season. Nobody set up more open 3-pointers than Ben Simmons. Like, he's just a traditional point guard, and we forgot that's what ruled the 80s, by the way. It's just not common in today's game.
I love hearing that from Jason Kelce, playing on an irrelevant team that keeps losing every week. But hey, it's all about winning, right?
DK Metcalf tried to get his team back into the swing of things in a tight garbage game against Eagles Packers.
By the way, that last 2 minutes, Jesus fucking Christ, that took forever. Like I was texting my friend who's a Seattle
so long.
Fan,
it was so
and
long.
I was like, why is this still going on for? Like, you can't win. Just kneel.
There were so many games this past weekend. I was like, just end. I'm tired of watching you.
Yeah, just end.
And that was one 100%. Of them. But DK Metcalf, he wasn't done after getting ejected. Here's a video of him trying to get back onto the field.
He's genius.
Oh, Metcalf tried to enter the huddle. You're out.
Oh. No. You know, it's funny. Some guys might be able to kind of sneak in, right? But it's like, you're the tallest receiver.
It's like being the pudgy kid getting caught going to get snacks in like kindergarten or something, right? Like you're the one who's going to get caught. You're the biggest dude on the playground. We see you.
Is he getting suspended for this?
So apparently he's
right?
not going to get.
It's
No, it's because you can have plausible deniability because when they announced the penalty, they gave him unsportsmanlike or whatever the call was, but they didn't actually announce you're ejected. So maybe they told him, maybe they didn't, maybe they told a coach. He actually claimed, I didn't hear it, and so I got on the field. Now, whether or not he's being truthful, it's hard for you to prove, right? Because they didn't actually say it out loud for everyone to know.
So I'll say something about this. I absolutely admire DK Metcalf. I think that he is going to be an absolute star in the league. But man, like he has such a hard time controlling his emotions during games, and I see it all the time. Like, and it's not just this situation. There's been so many situations where opposing cornerbacks or safeties will pick on him, knowing that he's going to lose his shit.
Yeah, like Lattimore
it's so. Yeah, and especially with Lattimore, like he took himself out of that game emotionally and mentally and Lattimore is not the kind of dude that's going to let go. Like he's going to continuously mess with you all the time. So and also you saw with the thing with Shannon Sharpe, like, dude, why are you responding to what some guy on Fox is saying about you? Like Shannon Sharpe's job is to talk shit about players and to come up with hot takes. That's his job. Yeah. You know, like. There's no reason to. He's also young. He's young, he's super talented, and everything. And he just really needs to figure that part out of his game. And he's going to be amazing.
I wasn't surprised he tried to get back into the game because this is a guy who famously, already having a threesome locked in, tried to pick another girl on AG and try to convince her for a foursome. So definitely, DK is a guy who will shoot his shot, right? He's definitely going to shoot his shot.
I mean, in his defense. What are they going to say? No? Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Like, he's not married or anything, so why not? Go for it, you know? I like, people are trying to heap shame on him for that, and I was like, nah, bro. Do you. We'll be sex positive on you.
Yeah.
The other thing, of course, that happened in this game was that Pete Carroll had a moment, and I don't know if this is actually a video or a picture. I don't remember anymore, Eagle, but something fell out of Pete Carroll's pocket when he looked to pull the flag, and it appears to be an out-of-date flip phone. He threw it at the feet of the referee. That's what we're seeing on the screen. As he's talking to the ref, he drops his flip phone. I have questions.
I've heard it's a digital hand warmer. So you put it, basically, you know, like the hot packs, the hot gel things. You can get one of those. You can warm them up ahead of time, charge them, and then you put it in your pockets, and they keep you warm.
Do you think this makes him sound younger or older that he needs a digital heat pack?
Hey,
I think it makes it sound cold.
I'm looking into it right now. Man, and I am.
Maybe that's a trick. Maybe that's how you keep a job at 7 years old.
Because he was in Green Bay. They were playing in Green Bay, right? Now,
hey, I'm not lying. I'm actually looking at it online. I'm looking at it online on Amazon, and they sell one that looks exactly like that thing that fell on the floor.
Does it really?
It really does, with the white band around it and everything on Amazon. 2-pack, $20. Baby, I'm buying it.
There you go. So keep your hands warm. I had another theory on this in that I think it was I forget who it was. Was it Arizona? It was one of the coaches, one of the new coaches that basically threw a challenge flag on a play that they didn't want to throw the challenge on ultimately, and so they tried to pick it up, but because he threw it, they had to go look at it. So this was Pete Carroll in his seniority and experience of being a head coach, throwing the challenge flag or announcing that you're going to challenge it to the referee next to you, but never actually throwing it. So they stop the game, they come talk to you, but because you never took out the flag, if your booth upstairs and your headset tells you never mind, you can pick it up and be like, well, I never actually threw the flag, you just stopped the game, not my fault.
There you go. So that's why that game took forever. Another thing that happened this weekend, another terrible game.
Take forever.
It ended in a tie. It was the Lions Steelers game. Najee Harris was surprised.
I'll never get that time back in my life.
We need to take an impromptu break because I can't hear my partner. We need to fix this. So let's take a quick break because the show is impossible without being able to hear each other. We're back. The technology's gotten fixed, and Duke has actually found the exact hand warmer. So it wasn't a flip phone. I thought Carol had a secret lover for which she required a burner, but I was wrong.
That actually looks really good. Yeah, so all he's doing is basically
really
putting
good,
money
yeah.
into Jeff Bezos' pocket. Now, he is a Seattle guy, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, makes sense. It does.
Do you think it's his last season, by the way?
I don't know. Remember I said we got to move to the next topic because we're running out of time?
Okay.
Najee Harris. Surprised that it was a tie. And everyone, of course, referenced the Donovan McNabb thing. But you know what I realized? You know how old Najee Harris was when Donovan McNabb said what he said about ties in the NFL?
5 years old.
He was 10 years old, so this is why he doesn't remember it. It does happen from time to time. Now, ties are, of course, more common than they were back in Donovan McNabb's time. But let's never forget that the way Donovan McNabb ended his comments about the tie rule, saying, hey, I just didn't know. It never happened to me in my life. But, my God, ties in the NFL, what if this happens in the playoffs? Or even better, the Super Bowl. And everyone was like, it's different rules in the playoffs out of it. That was my favorite part of that story. That's the part that often gets forgotten. One of the things that Scotty Pippen won't let people forget is he and Jordan don't see eye to eye. He's been going on the promo tour and just talking nonstop shit because he's got a book out. Let me give you 3 things he said. And I want to get your reactions to it. So I'll go one at a time, and I'll get your reactions as we go, okay? First one, the Bulls won in spite of Michael Jordan.
I never actually, sorry, guys, I don't want to sound dumb or anything, but I never understood the expression in spite.
Oh,
so
right.
what are you trying?
It means that
it's like a parlay.
No, it's like saying so Michael Jordan wasn't why they won. They won even though he was trying to hold them back.
He was holding them back, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that's craziness. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But it's a great thing to say if you want to sell a book, though.
I guess I can't. Thing is, you can't watch those games and say Michael Jordan held them back. Like you can say other guys are better. Like I'm here to entertain all the arguments, but you cannot say that Michael Jordan did not make them better. Now they only won one less game. Go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
Would you buy the book if he did not say that?
I'm not buying Scotty Pippen's book. I can't. It's too petty. I can't do it. It's not for me. It's so cringy.
Just to make up for the lack of salary money he negotiated himself out of.
Yeah. Well, and on the subject of money, he said just like when we were on the team, Jordan made $10 million from The Last Dance, while none of the other Bulls got paid for it.
They didn't get paid for it?
Yeah.
Well,
then why would you do an interview?
Well,
what a terrible agent.
You don't have to pay. Like, so in journalism, for example, it's common practice that you don't pay for interviews.
Then don't show up.
So it was his choice to not show up and work for free.
These morons. I
also feel like whoever is deciding not to get paid, they probably know, right? They probably ask first, hey, am I going to get paid for this? Yeah. No, you won't. Yeah. They're like, okay, I'll still do it because it's Jordan.
The last thing.
I mean, also he's executive producer. Jordan was producer on his own show, right? So of course you're going to pay yourself for doing it.
And not only that, like they're going to, they're not going to get that access to Michael Jordan without him getting paid for it. That's just the way he's always.
But you would think the same
100%.
thing. Scottie Pippen and all the other people, Steve Kerr. I'm forgetting his name.
Bill Wainwright, B.J. Armstrong. I don't know, man. Luke Longley.
Dennis Rodman.
Okay. There's a lot of guys who play on those teams.
No, I'm going to take the main 3 characters, essentially, right? Like, none of them took paychecks on this one. None of them, their agents said, yeah, let's get a cut of this.
Documentarians largely don't pay for interviews. It's because it's considered like that you're swaying the story if you pay for it, basically.
Then stop complaining
like
about
ESPN,
not getting paid.
Like TMZ often gets stories before ESPN, for example, right now, because they pay for the source, whereas ESPN will never pay for a source. It's just sort of what it is. The last thing he said was, and I want to get your reaction on this, Duke, was Michael Jordan ruined basketball, and LeBron had to save it because he's the GOAT.
I mean, that's just.
I don't even understand what that means. How did he destroy basketball? He made basketball what it is today. I mean, if it wasn't for Jordan, most of us wouldn't even paid attention back then.
Yeah,
we're going to watch
Jordan
Larry
saved
Bird.
the league from bankruptcy. More than
That doesn't make any sense.
you can make the arguments about who's better, and I don't particularly care because to me, like, excellence is excellence. But you can't make the argument that Michael Jordan wasn't good for basketball when they would have been bankrupt without him.
I take it back. I wouldn't buy this book. You're right. It's way too petty. Like, I feel like if it was a bit more balanced, where I had a little bit of information that gave me some insight into their seasons, into their championships, and gave me a little bit of dirt, I'd be happy. But man, this sounds like an old fucking fart that just wants to shit on Jordan. And like, how dare you?
Yeah. Last week we were on the show. Actually, we're talking about getting both sides. Last week we were on the show. Dalvin Cook's agent clearly got to Adam Schefter, and they put out a story
100%
about they put out a story about how Dalvin Cook was a victim. They specifically was a victim of domestic abuse, and now both parties seem to be countersuing each other. And either way, the narrative was shaped that he was the victim. So when I see this, of course, would it make? I don't know if I'm the only one who's troubled by this, but I'm getting to a point where I don't know if I consider ESPN even a journalistic resource anymore without double checking it, because if we're going to get fed information directly from agents, then what hope do we have to get the truth?
Oh, it's basically just another echo chamber. I mean, after the Dalvin Cook thing came out, there are two things that surfaced. There was that bullshit story from Schefter, which he has since came out and apologized for, and also this video that came out, only completely one-sided, showing a domestic dispute situation between Dalvin and his ex at the time. And it's this video that kept circulating throughout Twitter without any context whatsoever. No one even knows that had anything to do with the domestic abuse situation that they're talking about. So I don't know. I completely agree with you. It was sickening to me that, before both sides had their say on the whole situation, it just came out where it's like the first thing you saw when you looked up the whole situation was Dalvin Cook came out and said that, that he's the victim here. Like,
and that broke while we were on the show.
Think that's complete. Yeah.
That broke while we were on the show, and we said it as it was reported. Well, again, do I even say as it was reported? Because that wasn't reported.
Oh, can we give kudos to Dalvin Cook's PR team? Because that was fucking brilliant. Get ahead of the story, give it out to the press, they run with it. Now everyone has a narrative.
Yeah, I will agree with you in that sense, but what I'll say is there's a lot of shame that I think that Schefter, there's a lot of shame that Schefter should be feeling today, and I don't think he will, because at the end of the day, he's just out there to protect the NFL owners and their constituency
for his own money.
And absolutely, and I mean, this is also the same guy that called Bruce Allen Mr. Editor, and had him double check news articles that were specifically geared towards talking about union negotiations. So I just think I don't even know who trusts that in Schefter anymore. Clearly, people that are fans of the Vikings or fans of Dalvin Cook, I mean, they love the fact that that he's leaking this information. But no, I agree with you, Pease. There's no journalism there anymore.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating because we've always considered ESPN. We always considered ESPN a place where we get sports news, but like at this point, it's more ESP. Just
TMZ has better news sometimes.
They
broke the
even though they pay for their sources to a degree. Yeah, to a degree, they follow up and they correct errors when they're wrong. Like you got to they don't do it properly either, but at least there's some shame involved. It seems.
But it was. I'm sorry. I know you want to. I know you want to move on, but it's because I know that I heard you guys talk about it last week. But just one last thing. I just think it's so detrimental and so harmful to the lady who is dealing with this right now when this story breaks up, because it completely steers the story into a different direction, and every fact that comes out after, it's almost secondary. It's almost like, well, of course she's coming out with this now, like not understanding that story broke before him coming out saying that he was a victim. So I just think it's completely shameful.
Absolutely. It's really frustrating. And like I said, I don't know if we can continue to trust that. The thing is, we don't know what happened. He might have been the victim. She might be terrible. It might be the opposite. We don't know. We'll have to see that as it continues, of course. We will continue to give our thoughts on it as it happens. Let's get to rapid fire because we are running late.
Rapid Fire is brought to you by hotstreak.gg, the world's quickest daily fantasy sports game. Duke, I'd leave it to you to explain how it works, but you have no idea. Depending on the sport, whether it's going to be basketball, NFL, what used to be baseball, you pick a few players, you try and anticipate what's going to happen on the next player in the next period of time. If you're right, you get paid out. If you get a streak, you're on a hot streak. Get it? And you can make a bunch of money. If you go ahead and register and use the code HOTSAUCE, they will match your deposit and use that for betting, and hopefully you turn into a multimillionaire like Terry and don't show up for our shows anymore.
Take a quick trip to the Mecca.
There you go.
But if look, I enjoy it. If you're like me and you like having multiple screens where you have a game on your laptop, a basketball game on my laptop, like last night was Monday Night Football on my main screen, basketball on my laptop, able to put in basketball bets at the same time as my fantasy bets in football. It's a great way to keep the action going. It's fun. It's easy. Everything happens 180 seconds at a time. So even if you have Duke's attention span, you can play Hot Streak Fantasy.
All right, let's get to story number 1 here. Well, that aged poorly. Earlier in the minor league game, the Altica Comets tweeted, "Yo, at Cole Caulfield, you here? Everyone keeps saying you're here, but we haven't noticed you." And then a little bit after that tweet, he does this.
C'est 2-2. On disait que ce match-ci était spécial pour lui après ce qui s'est passé le week-end dernier. Et attention, non seulement il avait pas d'angle, il était derrière le but. Et Dawes trichait un petit peu vers sa droite. Derrière le but, à sa gauche, Caulfield a fait 2-2.
So for those of you who are on audio, Cole Caulfield scored off of the back of the goaltender.
From behind the goal line.
The net.
Yeah, from behind the goal line.
That's my boy, man. That's my boy. Representing my hometown, Laval. God bless the Rockets. It's the best thing going on in Laval. And he is going to be sainted in this city. He's got a key to the city anytime he wants.
How long before you erect a statue in your front yard?
It's erected. It's erected right now.
No, statue, not penis.
Oh. I was also thinking penis. I asked statue, but I was thinking penis. The one thing I will say is, man, of all the people to talk trash about on the other team, maybe not the guy who was scoring goals in the Stanley Cup final last year.
Yeah,
maybe that's so not crazy. The guy.
So crazy.
Next story for today, we have a Killer Swerve. A TikTok was uploaded recently with a young woman who had encountered O.J. Simpson. And let's just say if he was as good as picking up women as he was with murders, this clip wouldn't have happened. Let's take a look. If it ever plays.
Okay, I haven't seen this yet. I know you guys shared. I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait.
It'll make you very
I've been waiting for this.
Uncomfortable.
World Star is the worst when it comes to this stuff.
I couldn't find it on Twitter, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's full of like pop-ups and everything.
So I'll recap
used to have a great app.
I'll recap it for those listening, and for Duke who hasn't seen it. A young lady sees OJ.
Yeah, go on. Just get it off TikTok. Just get it off TikTok.
Yeah, so a young lady sees OJ at a bar and says, "Hey, come over and do a TikTok." And she's like, "Hey, check it out, check who it is," and it's OJ Simpson. And then he looks over at her, and she looks over at him, and he moves in for the kiss, and she like completely denies him and makes like a face to the camera. And my God, it does look terrible and uncomfortable. So I've explained it for the listening audience. Did you get the video for the visual audience?
Yeah, I can do it. Here, hold on. Let's get you.
I still, to this day, I will not understand the O.J. Simpson craze. Dude should be in jail right now.
O.J., baby, he's out! He's out, baby!
Oof. Oh, my God. That's so bad.
That is a bad look. I'll send it. Mo Khan is off camera, and he's saying, I missed it. I'll send it to you, Mo. It's the best.
It's so bad. Bad.
At times, even OJ outdoes himself at being gross, and that was one of them.
That's the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Completely denied.
Yikes.
And like at this point, like you gotta know when stuff happens, when people have their phones in your face, maybe don't act like it's a private moment.
Man.
All right, next.
That was an epic swerve.
Joe Rogan made a somewhat bizarre claim on his show this week. Quote, I could suck my own dick if I wanted to. I'm super flexible. I've never done it, but I put it around my face just to know I could.
Oh, he has. Oh, he has. You don't say that. You don't say that you can do it and not like. He has faith because he's done it. There's no other way.
So
if we tried, we would definitely pull our back.
I don't know where he found the time because between being Aaron Rodgers' personal medical advisor and having a really popular podcast, how did he have the time to try this?
Well, he sounds like someone that sucks his own dick a lot. So,
I mean, so like that's the other thing.
Did he meant it metaphorically?
Oh yeah, like because is he just being critical of his own show? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Duke, what's something you claim to be able to do but you've never actually done?
Fly kites. I think I'd be good at it, but I also never tried.
Again, metaphorically or literally?
To be honest, I never knew the difference between both words. So
perfect.
Yes,
perfect.
to both.
Metaphorically means whether or not you'll order a pizza in the next 24 hours.
I can. So is that a metaphor?
Yeah, that's a metaphor. So,
okay.
Yo, you have 24 hours to metaphor.
All right. A different sort of Maine. Lions replacement kicker Ryan Santos went viral for two reasons. One was the completely botched kick that could have given Detroit their first win of the season. And the second one is him rocking this really weird soprano stash during the game and everything. Like this is a
an Old West stash, man.
I saw I think his face is culturally insensitive to Italians.
I was going to say Mexicans.
I feel like he's trying to do the Super Mario thing, or as Eagle put out.
Did you guys?
Tony Soprano as extra.
So you guys saw the kick, right? You guys saw the kick. So when he was lining up the kick, we all knew he was going to miss, right?
I've never seen a pro kicker look nervous before a kick, but he looked nervous.
Yeah, he looked so nervous. Yeah, he looked like I was watching it, and I was like, this guy is going to shank it. And he shanked it. It was bad weather, too much pressure.
When they take people from the crowd to attempt the half-court shot, and it always ends terribly, that's what that looked like. It looked like they pulled someone from the crowd to try and kick the field goal to win the game. It was pretty rough.
It's a bad mustache to miss a field goal with.
If you have that mustache, you can't ever miss, right?
You can't miss.
The Lions, were you really saving that much by getting rid of Matt Prater, only like one of the greatest kickers of all time? I don't get it.
Do you think they're going to win this season?
Yeah, they got to. I thought that was the one.
Like they lost to well, they didn't lose, but they tied to Mason Rudolph. So I don't see any other chance they have to win.
Eagle, introduce the next topic, and while we do that, get the remaining schedule for the Lions.
Yeah, I will.
While we're answering.
Hungry Henry. ESPN has reported that Fenway Sports Incorporated have reported that they are closing in. Wow, what a sentence piece. ESPN has reported that Fenway Sports Incorporated are closing in on a deal that would allow them to purchase the Pittsburgh Penguins and add them to their ownership group. So kind of like the Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment Group, but the Boston version of it. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't really have any thoughts on it because I honestly don't know what it would change. I don't know what would change with the whole ownership or, if they're going to make better sound decisions. I mean, they've been a pretty great franchise, one of the best franchises in the NHL. So in the past decade. So I don't know, is it good or bad? I mean, I guess it's good. The Fenway Group's always been really good at running franchises. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'd say the Fenway Group is average at running teams. Mo Khan's getting angry with your answer, Duke, because he's a Liverpool fan and they own Liverpool, of course. The way they've run.
Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. I didn't know.
The way they've been run in leagues with no real salary cap is they kind of don't have quite enough money to operate the way they want to. So before they spend money, they sort of clear house. For example, they got rid of Mookie Betts because they literally couldn't guarantee the money in escrow. And Mo Khan's upset because they're kind of in an in-between state with Liverpool at the moment. Yeah, they have to, in Mo's own words, they got to sell to buy. But in a league with a salary cap, I think they're a group of people who put intelligent people in place, as we've seen with the Red Sox for years and years, and as we've seen in Liverpool as well. But I think that they'll save themselves from themselves by having a salary cap.
And they're essentially buying the team off of the Lemieux Group, from what I'm seeing here.
But they're adding another big name as LeBron James might be involved with that purchase as well.
That's cool. I mean, look, I honestly don't know as much about you guys about ownership groups and all this there, so I'll definitely trust you on that. And I do agree with you that the Mookie Betts situation. Yeah, and I do agree with you that, and I do. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I do agree with you that the Mookie Betts situation was absolutely ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
I mean, that has to be one of the worst decisions a team or a franchise with that kind of value has ever made. So, anyway, I'm hoping for the best. I still love the Penguins no matter what. And I mean, it's sad to see that the Limit Group won't have a controlling stake over the team. But I mean, maybe these things happen for a reason. Perhaps they just don't have the money or the to continue to run things.
Speaking of which, and ownership groups, Pro Football Talk is reporting that the sale of the Green Bay stock isn't actually stock if you look at the fine print, and that anyone who buys any of the shares can be fined up to $500,000 for criticizing the team or the league if you now own that stock, quote unquote.
So you can actually do that?
You need to suck Goodell's dick because he can't do it himself like Joe Rogan can.
That doesn't sound legal at all.
I mean, you can
Is it a free
draw
country?
up whatever terms
you
want, right? Conduct detrimental to the league. Detroit schedule. They have Cleveland, Chicago, Minnesota, Denver, Arizona, Atlanta, Seattle, and Green Bay. Maybe they have 2-3 win potential in there.
Atlanta's pretty trash.
Atlanta, Chicago, and maybe Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's weird. Sometimes they suck.
You can hit Denver on a bad week.
Yeah.
You guys forget that, first of all, Jared Goff might not even play this week because he's injured.
That's okay. I don't think Jared Goff is a good football player.
I agree.
But also, who's his backup, right?
I don't even think it
matter.
matters.
He's 0-15-1 without Sean McVay in his ear.
Yeah.
That's a real stat.
That's pretty bad.
John Wolford is his back. No, that's with the Rams.
That's with the Rams.
So I don't know. I don't know who his backup is.
It could be anyone. It'll probably be better.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with whoever it is. Bring back John Kitna.
Oh, and our last story here. A cult of personality disorder. Brass Against singer Sophia Arista has had a police report filed against her in Daytona, Florida, after she urinated on a fan during a show. Viewer discretion is advised because this is fucking gross.
Oh, fuck. That's a lot of piss, man. That's a lot of piss. I thought the steam was coming from his face. So
I had to watch this like 3-4 times just to try and see how did they stage or prop that. I'm like, where's the bottle? Where's the hose? Where's the anything? And I still can't find it. So if that was real, that's fucking gross.
That's why you watched it 3-4
times.
That's
that's the worst cover of Bulls on Parade I've ever heard in my life, by the way.
They do a thing where they cover hard rock and metal protest songs with brass instruments. Is their thing.
Disgusting.
That's actors.
Oh, by the way, the two backups for Jared Goff, David Blau and Tim Boyle.
Yeah, give me David Blau. Blow me. Blow me to the moon.
How do you not have a contingency plan for Jared Goff?
Because you paid $30 million
ridiculous.
for him.
Oh yeah. So
is that what you're paying him?
Yeah, because the Rams contract. But yeah. So when I saw that clip, I was like
$25 million actually, I think, per year. No, 33.5. I'm sorry, my bad.
We'll reset the clip.
Year?
What?
I'll reset the commentary on the clip because we're no longer on that part of the show.
No one cares about this girl pissing on someone's face. It's just we need to move on from that.
The police do.
Yeah, the police do mainly. The person who got pissed on maybe, and the woman who shot the video who seemed particularly excited about it. She seems
so strange.
Well. She seems
is that actually an offense? Is she going to get arrested, you think? Nah.
I don't. Well, I mean, public indecency. But I mean, like, musical artists through the times have always been arrested for public indecency. It's just not as common in the 21st century, for sure. I don't know. Pissing on someone as a form of entertainment. It's not really my cup of tea, per se.
We'll find out in Mount Bay.
I can't even figure out where David Blah went to college. By the way, the Boilermakers. So he's from Purdue. Yeah. Nice.
So he's really good at ruining another team's chances to win a championship. Is all David Blah is good for. Duke, thanks for filling in for Terry, man. It was
man, it was fun, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Sorry for the connectivity issues. I had trouble judging sometimes when you're speaking because of the connectivity. Eagle, thanks for everything.
I blame Skype.
For those who have subscribed, thank you for that. For those who have not yet done it, please do subscribe, follow us, do all of the things required to keep us on the air because we're having a good time. And the only way we continue to do the show for free is through advertising, who get happy when we get subscribers. So please continue to do that. And thanks to those of you who have, but most importantly, thank you all for letting me be myself. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.